Stephen A. Smith in San Antonio. Stephen A., so what's the lead of the story? Is it LeBron saying he would play better, and he did? Was it Chris Bosh giving you a double-double? Was it Dwyane Wade doing what he did in the Fountain of Youth? Or was it collectively all three? What's the lead tonight?
Well, all of them are great stories. All of them are potential leads. But in my mind, Dwyane Wade is the lead. There's no question that he was absolutely spectacular tonight. He was consistent throughout the game. He finished with 32 points, shot 8 of 14 in the second half. Customarily in this series, a couple of games anyway, he would do a little something in the first half, but then disappear in the second half. That wasn't the case tonight. He was a weapon all night long. He was in attack mode all night long. It even got to a point where LeBron James was sitting on the bench watching him put on the show, and it's been quite a long time since LeBron James has had an opportunity to do that. I don't think it's a matter of fountain of youth or whatever the case may be. You can call it whatever you want, but to me it was Dwyane Wade reminding everybody that when he's at least a tad bit healthy, this is the kind of stuff that he's capable of, because he's always had the heart of a champion. We didn't know whether or not he had the body, but we found out tonight. Still got a little something left, and obviously that's the worst possible news the San Antonio Spurs could have received.
This series has so many stories, so many twists and turns. First, Tony Parker is the third best player in the NBA, and then suddenly the Heat come back, and then it's Green and Neal making their stories be known, and then suddenly it's the Heat imposing their will and winning seemingly whenever they want to. As we go forward, what are you looking for? What's left in this series?
Well, what's left in this series is, number one, the health of Tony Parker. You've got to monitor that, because as we watch this game for tonight in San Antonio, it is clear that without Tony Parker, the San Antonio Spurs have zero chance whatsoever to win this series. Number two, you look at Danny Green, Gary Neal. Danny Green, more so than Gary Neal, is really a spot-up shooter. You can't leave him open, but if you get up in him, it's difficult for him to create anything off the dribble. Gary Neal, also, you have to keep your eyes on him, because even though he's capable of putting points on the board and doing so off the dribble and creating some space for himself, for some odd reason, Greg Popovich, the coach, wants to stick with Manu Ginobili far more often than he should, and that's going to really be the big story for the San Antonio Spurs as this series continues. Manu Ginobili looks done. I am not saying he's done, because we don't know that for sure. Obviously, at 35 years of age, he's a three-time champion. We do not want to disrespect the greatness of Manu Ginobili in terms of what he's been able to do in his career. But if you look at this series, he has been a complete no-show, just impotent offensively, doing absolutely nothing. And he was awful tonight, just ineffective. The only thing worse about Manu Ginobili was that there was Thiago Splitter, who was a complete no-show, a complete utter waste of space. That's what Thiago Splitter was tonight. Just awful. Just absolutely awful. So you got a starter in Thiago Splitter. You got your primary bench player, Manu Ginobili, both combined to give you virtually nothing. And the only reason we're not saying Manu Ginobili gave us nothing is because Thiago Splitter was actually worse than that. He started the game with a backcourt violation, had a foul, and was out of the game in 47 seconds. That's Thiago Splitter. That's your starting big man. That's what the San Antonio Spurs had to deal with tonight before they even knew what Dwyane Wade and LeBron James and Chris Bosh were going to give to them. Absolutely pathetic performance on his part. Really put the Spurs behind the eight ball, and Miami, doing what it did, obviously responded in kind.
Stephen A., prepare for your one-on-one with Dwyane Wade. We're going to the podium now. Tony Parker is there to talk about